Everybody, this one talk about a spell that I personally think it's very underrated and nobody actually mentions it. And me, I like having so much fun, and I think it's very, very powerful spell that some people might, ignore altogether. Now, if you're using it, let me know, because those who are using it realize how powerful it is. And the spell I'm talking about, can you guess? We can actually buy it from Miller's Spell Workshop, and this is the Lightning Hammer. Alright, but you need the Divine Vessel's Nucleus. So it's not an early one, and once you beat Nomia, you're gonna get this Nucleus that allows you to, again, with Crystal, trade it for that specific spell. Alright, so that's how you get it. Well, in a nutshell. So what makes this weapon great? Well, first of all, it's not too expensive, only 30% sync rate in order to use. Now, it's hidden secret, it can do kind of a mid-stagger. It's not like the shortest, the mini-stagger, which is super fast. It's slightly longer, and on some enemies, the other spell won't actually do that. They will deal damage, but they won't actually cause this relatively long stagger. Whether with the hammer, you're gonna get it against several enemies and also bosses as well. Not all of them, but many of them. And if you don't get it with one attack, you can get it with the second attack. So if you try, for example, just the lightning skill, alright? It won't stagger. Okay, you have to see this moment. Like a pro. Now, I think you need to be relatively higher, I think above 60 when you execute it. That is gonna stagger the first hit. So if you take a look here, it's not working, right? But if I'm going to be higher, and I'm going to go against the other one, you can see that one hit. Now look at that, it's pretty long duration. See, execute it again and again. This is a pretty long stun. It's crazy. Now let's try it with another spell. See, this doesn't. This is a short one. It immediately goes up. And it's just like 1 second is up. You see, I'm using the hammer. Look at that. Look at that. This is just crazy. Like 3 times long. Alright, let's try the missiles, for example. No, damage. Doesn't do anything, doesn't stop him. Bye bye. Yeah, of course there are powerful spells that can actually eliminate enemies, of course, even not at a higher cost. But this is kind of an all-around one that is very good if you're just traveling. Also against bosses, I'm going to show you in a moment. You can hit several enemies. It's a nice reach, by the way. You don't need to be like zero range from enemies. And again, if you are, I think a certain percentage, it's kind of guaranteed stun, and if you don't get it the first time, you can get it the second time against certain bosses. So it's not about the damage as much as a utility. And of course, keep in mind that if you're getting enemies down, you can follow up with other things that can lead to increased damage. Because first of all, they don't hit you. If they hit you, they can reduce your sync rate. They also reduce your damage. And also, if they're kind of a stun for a longer time, you can just execute maybe a skill or something without actually getting interrupted and without getting hit, but eventually going to deal more damage. And aside from that, it's really cool and fun to play with. Here is another. You can see this enemy. You're going to see that I'm going to hit him once. You can hit a force twice, yeah, and before they get up and they're gonna get down again. You have time to do it, of course. Even one hit, 2 hits, and then do it. Basically render them useless. All of them actually stun this enemy. It's great against enemies that are very hectic and you just want one and just silence them down and do it fast and react fast. Even if you get hit a bit, at least you know that the next stage you want. You have time to react. Because let's not forget the enemies also have the recovery time, which is extra animation. So you have that plus the extra recovery animation. So you have lots of punishment time ahead of you. Here's another enemy. Pretty active with the attack. Let's silence him. You can see he has this animation before even attacking. I mean, recovery plus attack animation. So it's just the silence, recovery, and attack animation. All of that is very long, and you have a lot of time to actually deal a second hit or do something in between. Here again, we're going to sit against this enemy. great against rushing enemies, again, because you have time to actually execute the move, and if you time it right, even if you get hit once, great, but again, you can see here, I didn't get hit, I timed it right, and this enemy is done. Even the other one. This is great if you're fighting several enemies and you want to just make sure that you have time to react, maybe execute a skill or something else. This just buys you more time, so it's really good against several enemies as well. You see, it becomes even worse for them when they have preparation animation again, because they're moving a bit. You can execute it. This is like the best case scenario where, you know, they won't actually be able to do anything. Now, as you can see, you don't need to be very close in order to hit enemies, alright? So this enemy is going to be a bit relatively far. I'm going to execute it. You can see still hit him. So you don't need to be like very, very close range. You still have a bit of distance to utilize that. Because this is kind of AoE attack, so it has kind of radius. Where you hit enemies. Of course, you can hit several enemies with that. It's not huge, but it's relatively generous. Now, it's absolutely fantastic against bladers. I haven't tried it against Ursula. This is, by the way, a tier 5 gameplay that you see here. You can take down enemies while they are mid-air, as you can see as well. So you can see a little 10% sync rate reduction for against Hunter of Bladers. And considering that it's fast, you can actually execute it even several times, right? So I didn't even, you know, parry or dash here. I just execute the move, which, because it took her down while she actually attacked me, it can serve as something else to actually counter certain attacks. Because by the time she comes to hit, you already hit her, and then she's down. Very satisfying, by the way, to do. Here again, for example, again, this enemy. So I need to do it again before the enemy gets close to me and attack. There's range, so I can do that. Again, against enemies that are kind of crazy with their attacks. Maybe they have some crazy easing animation that's so hard to evade. Piece of cake with this one. And against bigger enemies, you might need 2 attacks. You're going to see her against a robot here. Again, it's a very, very versatile spell. Alright, pretty long stun. Yeah, so probably one of the most versatile spells available. Give it a try, don't sleep on this one. Thanks for watching.